I think the Suns need exactly what Jalen Green brings. And I don't know if you agree with this, I think we saw glimpses of it in that Clippers game a little while back when he played. He was incredible in that game. And he and Booker actually had a shocking amount of not playing off each other, but like it didn't feel like they were stepping on each other. It was already staggering them. He was making sure one was on the court at all times. But like, because they get their offense in different spots, Jalen Green has been between the 73rd and 80th percentile in rim attempts every year of his career. So like, that's the rim pressure we're talking about. We know he's an amazing offensive player. I think he's an underrated defender. I don't think he's as bad as people think he is. And I think if you get a coach like Jordan Ott to be like, dude, this is Devin Booker's team. Like, you're going to get your touches, but you got to do the other things. You got to shoot. Like, I think, and I know I'm probably overreacting to that limited time he played the Clippers game, but I was very, very impressed by how they were using him out of the gate and how Jalen Green was embracing this sort of role where he was not perfectly additive. I don't think a Jalen Green can ever be perfectly additive in the way like, an elite role player is. But I do think that he can be more additive in this exact situation, and he can be more synergistic with Booker and a bunch of role players than he could anywhere else. And I think that's where they get their source of rim pressure. When he returns, I actually don't think it's going to be one of those situations you and I have talked about where a good player returns to a situation, but actually they don't get better because he's taking away more than he's giving. I think he's going to be more additive than many might expect from Jalen Green. And I think he's going to play the best basketball of his career if his health permits it, if he's able to come back from this injury, have the athleticism, have the shot. He has all the tools, and I think the Suns have the surrounding pieces and the coaching to really elevate him in a way that he's never been elevated from a team impact standpoint.
I can't believe you just said that, man. I think that's an incredible answer. No, I think I think that's a great answer, actually. I think you're spot on. I love that answer because, so here's the thing. So the one part that I'll say what I disagree and then I'll say what I agree with. The part that I disagree with is like the way that he played in that. So I didn't watch the full Clippers game, but I watched a bunch of it, and it felt more like a Jalen Green is hot and is shooting a bunch of threes game. I think he took like 12 or 13 threes in that game, which is cool. Like, there's no problem with that. That's totally fine. But what you were describing as far as like his rim pressure, like, I don't think people realize how good Jalen Green is at getting to the rim. Like, he is like an elite rim shot creator. Like, it's kind of crazy to say at 23 years old or however old he is, 22 or 23, he's already been an elite rim shot creator, like in the league. And so he's only going to get better. And he does completely solve or add that missing piece to the puzzle that we're describing, because I see the Suns and I see what you described. I see their data. I see the way they play. I see Jordan Ott's sort of perspective on the game and how it ends up kind of coming through and how the Suns like attack defenses. And I really like it, but I'm like, there's something missing. Like that feels like it won't be able to be sustainable without this thing. And really that is the rim pressure component. I don't think you can get by, with this purely, perimeter to short mid-range attack. Obviously you have Devin Booker and you have a really great advantage because you have one of the best mid-range shooters in the modern NBA history. But I don't think it's like enough to get them where they're looking to go. But I do like the angle that you just shared about Jalen Green, because again, this guy gets to the rim at will. And when we're talking about not only having the spacers that they have, so guys that are already really, really good shooters to great shooters to elite shooters, when we're talking about like a Grayson Allen, now you have guys who are good to great to elite shooters who are all, like you mentioned, taking the most 3-point attempts per 75 of their careers. They're just jacking them up. So you have that threat. You have the threat of the quick pass to a shooter who's going to pull the trigger immediately. And so now that softens the interior. And so you have a guy in Jalen Green who's already able to create rim pressure out of thin air and can always get to the rim across his career from the time he's a teenager to the time when he first could potentially drink in the United States. Now you have that dynamic and you're able to add him into the mix. It'll make it that much easier. So now you have that missing piece. You interject that missing piece in the form of a player who is not quite a perfect player, has a lot of flaws, but really, really fills this role extremely well if he's able to be deployed in the right way. And I trust Jordan Ott to do that. So I think that's an incredible answer. So I love that.